crap. And,
Yep.
Pardon me. And now it's more high-end stores. So,
yeah. No, I loved it. I'd never been in a movie theater like that before, so that was fun, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Just telling Joe, my family and my nephews and my mom and dad, we all went to see the Buzz Lightyear movie on Saturday and had a great time. Really fun, a lot of fun. But at this movie theater that has these big reclining seats, and you push a button and the waiters come and bring you more popcorn or whatever the hell you want. So, margaritas, whatever. It was cool. It was good. It's good.
Yeah, it's a nice theater. It's the one in Cocoa Walk, in case anybody's nearby.
Yeah, in Miami. So we are seeing a little green, Joe.
Yeah. I was watching on Saturday and I just looked and saw like the bloodbath going on, and I'm kind of like, well, okay, maybe we finally hit this, Maybe we're gonna get that capitulation candle. And I looked back like 10 hours later and I saw it going up, and I was like, wait, whoa. I want to see a little more blood in the streets at this point. But,
yeah. Well, look, I mean, we're on the second daily candle that's still green or purple on my map. So, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, this could be that kind of that everybody's talking dead cat, of course.
Of course.
I mean, I don't see how. Look, you put money in now, you make 60% in a week. Are you really going to hodl at that point? I mean, this is easier. This is not that hard. Okay.
Exactly.
You're going to take your profits, and then we're going to see what happens. So, I mean, that's where I kind of think everybody keeps thinking dead cat, because everybody now, the newbies have learned the lesson too.
Right.
That it's painful to watch this shit go up and then retrace 90%.
Absolutely.
It's happened in equities to me in the past before too. So it's not just crypto, but that's why I feel now. Maybe we get a little rally here. It's like this about that timing, considering like last year, we were just maybe another 3 weeks and we started rallying. Maybe that's coming, but maybe it's not. So
who knows? Who knows?
So trade if you can. If you can't,
it's kind of crazy.
You're not going to get hurt buying here for the long haul, is my read. Just don't scale in 100%. If you're going to start.
I'm a little bummed. I don't have my MTF bots running because look at these signals, man. These are golden. These were some nice plays over the last.
There's nowhere to run that anymore.
No, I can. I can run it on Binance US. Of course, I can't run it on Binance, but I can run it on Binance US. But I mean, look at these. These are beautiful, just beautiful. So I don't know. We'll see. But
you might have to fire up that automatic money making machine again.
I'm going to fire up MTF again. If we maintain, look, I've had it off because everything said we were going to bleed, but I'm actually seriously considering, a rerun here because this is nice. This is nice. What's ETH at, right? This is, by the way, the ETH chart.
I think it was 11 something this morning.
Yeah, 11.23 right now. So
didn't we see it hit I saw it hit the 8s, I thought, if not the 7s. And that
it did.
I don't know. I was not.
Oh, there was a wick down on Binance down to 879. Yeah, 879.
Triggered some action.
Yeah.
Let me just get this up too.
So it's a little red right now, but I'll take it.
Yeah, anything helps at this point. If you're trading, anything helps. Obviously.
Yeah.
If you're waiting. I wouldn't be scaling in at this point if you're already holding a position.
Yeah,
that's sort of my feel.
Just see. Look, I mean, everybody says, like you said, dead cat. They think it is, but let's see what happens.
Yeah. If everybody when everybody starts believing that, though, that's actually a good sign, because that means it's probably going to go the other way at that point.
Yeah, let's hope.
Because everybody bets opposite of the herd or tries to. So when you see just everybody in full malaise mode and everybody's like, not even looking anymore, that's when the turns happen.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I usually miss them because I've already stopped looking. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, cool, let's go.
So there was this is an economics thing, but
yeah.
You know what? Let's get to that later if we have time. Pretty fascinating thing but Sam Bankman-Fried is signaling that FTX may jump in to save some of the protocols that are getting fucked with everything that's going on. Signaling that, there's something that needs to be done. And even if they had nothing to do with it, they think that he thinks that there may be some things they have to step in and do with all of their money to bail out some of these. Now, I love that sounds very magnanimous.
Altruistic.
Yes, altruistic. But I have to believe that if they come in and bail out some protocols, those protocols are probably going to be under ownership of one of his funds or FTX. But at the end of the day, if he can shore up and reduce some of the bleeding and help save some protocols that deserve to be saved, then I'm all for it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he actually does it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. No, nobody gets something for nothing. Okay.
Korea's locking down the Terra developers. You don't get to leave the country if you were involved with the project. Of course, this one I think has already left. So he's already out and escaped, leaving his devs there to, I guess, face the regulators in Korea, which doesn't sound like it would be pleasant.
This is new K-pop band, the Doquanites, right?
The Doquanites.
Sorry, I just sort of went on that on the fly.
Oh,
but
Terra developers and former developers can't leave the country.
You don't want to mess around with the Korean justice system. I mean, there's some tough people.
Yep. Yeah, they are. They are. Terraform Labs is under investigation for possible tax evasion in Korea to the tune of $78 million. Kwon says there's no outstanding liabilities in Korea. Several ongoing investigations and lawsuits.
And they're like, well, come on down and explain it to us.
Yeah. Well, come back to Korea. Let's chat.
Yeah, where are you?
I think he left. I thought he went to Dubai, but maybe he's still there. I don't think so, though. Who knows?
I probably, if I were in his shoes, would have left.
I would have left if I was involved with that project in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
As soon as that burn started happening.
Yeah. When that starts rolling like that, because they're only going to make it look bad no matter what in the end.
Exactly.
I mean, even though, because then everybody thinks he's an asshole, and everybody likes to give payback to an asshole.
Of course.
So,
of course.
Yeah. So that little smile is going to do real well in prison.
Yeah. So,
sorry.
I'm going to get to a little news on 3AC, but one of my favorite projects, Bancor, has been feeling the hits from the 3AC and Terra thing. And, part of the appeal of the Bancor protocol is their conservative approach to everything. But they have what's called impermanent loss protection in the system that if you suffer impermanent loss in your pair during the course of, staking there, you will be rewarded with their B&T token to make up the difference based on the current price of the token, which is great. Unfortunately, the dumps and losses from the big guys are pushing the price of B&T down, but also harming the entire ecosystem. So they made the tough decision yesterday to turn off the impermanent loss protection to stem the tide of people dumping B&T that they're getting from unlocking from the staking. So, there's a lot of people on their case about, this is centralized shit, blah, 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 blah. Look, I'm not excited about it, but at the same time, what are you faced with? You have two options. You do something like this to stop the further damage to the protocol and potential death of the protocol, or you just watch it happen. And so I don't think they had any choice, really, and I can't imagine I can't imagine, being faced with that decision, how difficult it must be, but it still sucks. It just, it doesn't look good. It'll harm, big folks who were staking. They have a lot of large, investors who are staking there. Those folks are going to think twice about it if they know that Bancor, anytime it gets into any kind of trouble, would do this. I don't think they will. I think they take it very seriously. I listened to part of the call with Mark Richardson, one of the, he's kind of the chief architect of what they're doing in their new version. And it was pretty clear to me that they felt very strongly that even with an outside chance of a death spiral, that they weren't going to take that chance. So
anyway, I guess they're fully centralized then?
Well, I mean, they have enough centralization to be able to turn off a part of the functionality of the system, which is the impermanent loss capability.
Right? Yeah, and they're not a DAO either, right?
No, well, they vote on they have a DAO, and the DAO votes on pairs that come onto the system, et cetera. And they are going to they didn't do a vote for this because they felt like they had to move rapidly, but they're going to do like a retroactive vote to approve it by the holders. But anyway, it's a temporary measure. We'll see what happens with them. I still love the project. I love their approach and their, professionalism, but anyway, we'll see what happens with it. So 3AC. So let me first say, before I dive into this tweet thread, this was a tweet thread by a group called 3Anon Company that I believe the account was created. Yeah, the account was created this weekend. But they claim to be Singapore investors who have worked with Zhu Su and Kyle L. Davies, the founders of 3AC, as counterparties previously. And they said they felt the urge to spill the beans, letting our community know what happened. Basically, they're saying it's two selfish, arrogant, reckless egos to the total destruction of billions, costing life savings of many who trusted them. They're talking about throughout this thread that, in fact, there are a ton of wealthy Singaporeans who were in 3AC and had surrendered their money to them for investing, who have lost like everything, and some big players in the space. But I don't want to read the whole thing, but they're talking about the fact that they're still they are known to actively borrow unsecured funds from all possible avenues since the start. At the time they started, they've been borrowing to invest over from the very beginning, that it wasn't mostly their funds. They were hustling for unsecured loans. They structured credit products to anyone looking for a 10 to 15% yield. You lent them the money with liquid redemption terms with no underlying asset backed as collateral. No one knows how it works behind the scenes, et cetera, et cetera. He said they operate this completely illegally, serving Hong Kong, Singapore, and Chinese people, where they have zero compliance oversight or permit to do so. Lenders include small exchanges, individuals, firms, et cetera. Besides the shady credit product, many of their prop trade is done using others' money. Their ST ETH ARB, their GBTC, BTC ARB. They structured these trades as products and to miners or small firms who net long BTC and ETH. These trades made a big fame for them, while the money they risk are primarily other people's monies. There are various such examples. It's a black hole to know what 3AC's book looks like. Then he goes on to say, oh, by the way, the reason I said this was a newly created account is I don't have any validation of any of this being true. So, if the 3AC guys want to come on and chat about it, we're happy to chat, wouldn't you say, Joe?
I don't know anything about it, but I do know that Singapore is a place you do not want to get in trouble with.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it reminds me of a gal I used to know, her dad, Big Jim Slater, who was a big publisher, and he had some business go bad in Singapore, and he was wanted. I think, well, he's passed now, but he was wanted for like 30 years for stuff and couldn't go back. But it wasn't remotely anything like this.
Yeah.
It's just that if you ever remotely misrepresent something there, and you take Singaporean money, and it goes the other way, you are in trouble. So these 3AC guys are, get ready.
Yeah. So, he talks in this one about the fact that he kept talking about the fact that crypto was in a super cycle. It was going to be in a super cycle for a long time, et cetera. And that's how he got Chuck says, "Here comes the caning channel again."
Well, this is more than that. This is probably beheadings or something like that.
Yeah. And that they just made up this super cycle shit. There was no analysis behind it. It was just a thesis that because people latched onto it, they started using it for pitching investors. They acted like they were a legit hedge fund manager, but only had 5 employees. They were managing over $1 billion. Their own money, however, only accounts for a small part of it. Very poor back office operation, no fund admin function, no audit, no existent risk management. Every trade is a directional bet, so no difference from retail. The GBTC ARB was packaged by them, sold primarily to Asian miners and who were looking for BTC yield. This trade made them seem like a sizable fund, but most BTC was accrued from their clients. Clever optics and branding ARB further facilitated their creative financial crime. More detail in the next few parts of their market making service under another HK entity called TPS. As a small lender, being bullied by 3AC is common. They got all the say in setting rates and terms, even for relatively big Western lenders. They have pressured them for competing on rates, tried to get special treatment, proposed liquid assets, SAFT as collateral instead of liquid tokens. He said they stopped working with them in the middle of 2021 for not able to accept their terms they suggested, which was their best decision in hindsight. So Sue knows the populist playbook well, making himself a thought leader through a compilation of word salad that seems to be understandable only by his enlightened inner circle. Despite his public equanimity, he's never tried to hide his chaotic evilness in person. Whoever has worked with him knows his aggressiveness and rudeness, cursing counterparties who questioned their book. He says here they ordered a $200 million yacht. Later on, he corrects it. It was a $50 million yacht. Bragging about it as the most expensive and well-equipped yacht in Singapore, though try hard to pretend they were aristocratic pursuit online. In reality is completely the opposite. Also, the yacht is another tool for them to fool non-crypto money, just like many financial scams. The sad thing is that most of us in Singapore society, full of crazy rich Asian dreams, were convinced by them that crypto is something, as long as you worked hard, you can make it. Their game. Their online influence grows as their book, where primarily coming from money landed to them, many non-crypto money too, looking for a secured guaranteed 10% APY. This APY does sustain for about 20 months until earlier this year, down to single digit. 6/10, June 10th is most of us figured out something went wrong. Nothing is redeemable. They are ghosting everyone ever since. What we heard so far is after Luna collapsed, they started to anxiously trade to make it back, leveraged up even more, tried to make it back in one bet. For the past month, they've been collecting all collateral from everywhere, no matter what it was initially signed up for them to leverage. The result is a $2 billion debt outstanding, conservatively speaking, only calculated from those branded lenders, not including personal loans or project treasuries. So he corrected that it was a $50 million yacht, but if all of this turns out to be true, it's going to get ugly. And I don't think we're done feeling the pain of it. Joe. Oh, we lost Joe. Joe's back.
Now, I don't know anything about whoever's saying all of this information, so I don't know if anything's remotely true.
Correct. We do not know if it's true.
It's not. We're not trying to spread gossip here. It's just always good to, when you're forming your own analytic product, to get information from all sources. And this kind of stuff, a lot of that sounds like it could be pretty easily verifiable.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to dig in. I would, if he's taking Singaporean high net worth investor money, he's in big trouble, because that was always the rule in Singapore, is you took money as capital investment into deals, but you didn't solicit the Singaporean public for money. Right. So, and you worked outside of Singapore with that company that was in Singapore. So you wouldn't get into this problem, because if you start losing tons of investor money, it's not good anywhere. But
right.
Let's face it, in some places you do not want to do it. And this is one place. It's like you wouldn't want to lose a bunch of investor money in, say, Dubai, would you?
No.
New York, happens. London happens. Switzerland happens. You get sued, you get gutted, you pay as much as you can.
But you're not going to be beheaded for it.
Yeah, you're not going to be incarcerated for like, unless you were, committing fraud or something like that. So all of this stuff, I think going around and saying, oh, we're in a super cycle, I mean, everybody was saying it. Did anybody have proof we were? No, you can never have proof. It's like saying, we're going to win, so and so is going to win the Super Bowl this year, or so and so is
Right.
going to win the European Cup. You just don't know.
Yep.
We say right now, oh, we're in economic trouble, but does that mean we're definitely going down? No. I mean, I see a scenario where we could go sideways and start going up. So I think
Right.
when you say things like that in the sales cycle of pitching for money, that it can always come back to haunt you. So you got to be really careful. I mean, when we were doing this, I know these were SEC raises, but you have lawyers going over every single friggin' word you're allowed to say. And you can never remotely even get to anything like, oh, it's going up. You
Yeah,
cannot
exactly.
say it at
Exactly.
all. You can't even say, I
Exactly.
think it's going up. You do nothing. You just are generic, monotone. Everything's documented, and you just be really careful. Well, when we're entrepreneurial and chasing dreams and getting excited, it's easy to talk about stuff as if it's real
Yep.
when it's might not be. So
Yeah.
I think like that, I don't really fault these guys on, but I wasn't on the inside of it. And I just think that they did long-term capital, credit and whatever that was back in the 90s, 80s, it's like
Yep.
all of a sudden you're on all the bets, and you're holding positions on both sides and you can't get out.
Yeah.
So, I think that's where they messed. That's probably from the size. Like he said, if there's 4 or 5 people there, you can't have control of it the way you're supposed to. You just can't.
No.
And then the other thing was that not constructing proprietary trades, but more just going long and short, like a retail investor. I mean, that has no protection at all. So when things like this happen, you do get gutted. I don't know why they did it, but I would just, I don't want to say lack of experience because that sounds too simplistic, but most people don't encounter these situations. And those that do usually encounter them only once, because after that, you learn what the risk is all about.
Yeah.
So painful lessons for everybody, contagion everywhere. I hope it's not as bad as this guy says, but I would say that type of, I'm going to guess that type of assessment can probably be made to, I mean, it sounds like 60, 70% of the companies in this space
Oh, absolutely.
doing this type of activity. It's just they're young. I don't mean years wise people. I mean that the firms are young. And so you just haven't built up that kind of going concern infrastructure and that going concern on the risk side infrastructure that, has people looking at these trades. Because I bet probably just one person was making a decision, saying,
Yeah, of
oh, yeah,
course.
they need more money. Yeah, send it to them. It's not going to an investment committee, which then, stops the bad deals and
Right.
doesn't send good money after bad. Also, there's a lot of idealistic motivation in the space. Everybody wants it to succeed. So I could see kind of, putting the blinders on a little bit and maybe not looking at stuff as critically as you want to, because, your friend's running that protocol and you're like, and he or she is saying, oh, no, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
And so you're believing that.
I'm concerned about the accounting we're going to see of all the treasuries that allowed them to market make their money and manage their treasury, because it sounds like they were desperately trying to save everything at the last. And if this, there are other tweets from people who had money in their funds saying that the money is, that they're ghosting them and that the money's not there anymore. So leads me to believe that at the very least, some of this may be true. And so anyway, I mean, and these guys, interestingly enough, this account keeps tagging Kyle Davies and Shu Su in these tweets, right? So he's not afraid to like have these guys answer him directly. And they could if they wanted to. Now I'm sure their attorneys are telling them don't say a fucking word to anybody, but
that's what I'd be saying. There should be a PR. There should be a PR firm here with lawyers all around it, handling every single communication coming out now.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. They do say here in a tweet later on that there's this exchange called Who Exchange they say is directly tied to 3AC. Managing their money and their market making, and that if they go down, it'll be because of this.
Oh yeah, that's right, man. I was late on my visa payment, so if I go down on that, it's 3AC's fault. You know, it's like, come on. I mean, what the hell? It's like everybody's not going to blame 3AC
Right,
for
right.
who. It's the who Dex or whatever that's out there, or Sex. Like I've been on that one a couple of times. Who dot something? What is the
Yeah. I can't
yeah?
remember. Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's like number 60 or something like that.
Yeah.
You blame 3AC for that? Good luck.
Freddie Reynolds, who I follow, had somebody share an anonymous note with him claiming to be from 3AC to people trying to get money in. A BTC loan versus P note to capture the GBTC discount right now. So you have upside if the discount collapses as we approach SEC's July 6th deadline on Grayscale application to convert GBTC to an ETF. All you have to do is post BTC and we'll run with the rest. 100 BTC would net around 120-ish BTC. Would this be something of interest for you or anyone in your close circle?
Okay, well, that's interesting, though, on the Grayscale stuff. So the SEC, because this is something that we have not been looking at a lot lately. July 6th deadline on Grayscale's application to convert GBTC to an ETF. I mean, what do you think if an ETF comes up now all of a sudden, the real ones that we've been wanting forever? I mean, what do you think that does to the market?
Oh, I don't know. Should be a bounce.
I would think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Goldman Gary's going to do that. But who knows?
Yeah, you never know, man. I was just thinking once I've forgotten all about those guys, and that was such a good like indicator for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
The ETF cycles or applications.
Anyway,
yeah,
it's kind of ugly. Whatever is actually the truth, it's ugly. He says he doesn't have a lot of detail on projects losing their money through TPS Capital, their market making firm. But, you know, look, it's there's a lot of info and details here, but who knows what it's going to actually turn out to be about the truth of it. But, you know, it certainly seems like it. The interesting thing was the other day, I think I talked about this on Friday, the other day when Zhu tweeted, "Hey, we're trying to get together with people and work this out, blah, blah, blah." Like, I don't know, there were hundreds of tweets of people using the salute emoji. Like, "Oh, we're with you, saluting you," blah, blah, blah. And at the time I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Like, why
I'm down 99%. Get me out.
And it's like, why would you be saluting these guys? We already know that they fucked up at some royal level and being over leveraged. We knew that at the time. We knew just that. None of this rumor or anything else, but we knew that. So at the moment, they were dramatically impacting the entire ecosystem, and people are like saluting them. I don't understand it. I really don't get it. And it's funny because somebody pointed out, you know, and I've tweeted about this in the last couple of days, Zhu actually did some, you know, he called it psyops, but he was like doing things like tweeting that he gave up on ETH. He's done with ETH. I'm dumping it. I'm sticking with Avalanche, right? And at the time he had money in Avalanche. And then after there was a dump after that from ETH, from him doing it, because he has 500,000 DeFi followers, you know, then it turned out he bought ETH, right? And so he's, you know, manipulating all the people that followed him and thought he should be saluted. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems strange to me that we'd be saluting a guy who had so over leveraged that he was damaging the entire ecosystem. But what do I know?
Yeah, I don't get the blind loyalty either.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
It just kills me. It just kills me.
It's got to be that cultish thing again. You know, it's like people want to believe in something. People want to belong to something, and they don't see what everyone else sees.
Oh, a little bit of good news. So, you know, that project I'm advising, Walken?
Yeah.
Dude, 400,000 users. They are now the largest play to earn game in all of crypto.
Nice.
230,000 subscribers on Telegram, 160,000 followers on Twitter. And they're launching on Bybit and Huobi very soon here. They're going to be trading. So I'm very fired up for these guys. And like I said, look, I mean, from the beginning, when I met them, I felt so confident about these guys because they knew what they were doing. They have a development machine. They have a marketing machine. They know how to do this. They know how to get people using something. And so Anyway, I'm very excited for them, fired up for them. So anyway.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Yeah. Sean says, despite the fact that these guys clearly fucked up, got to say, I feel worry for them. It's difficult to think strategically when your balls are on fire. Yeah, totally agree with you, dude. And I do have moments of sympathy for them. And then I realize how much damage they've done, and I stopped feeling sympathy for them. But I agree with you. They are probably losing their minds right now.
Yeah, those are tough, man. Those, like, as I call them, sort of like somebody cut the elevator cable at 100 floors and you just plummeted.
Exactly.
You're lucky if you're not dead when it hits the bottom. I mean, I'm metaphorically, okay?
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, God knows, sometimes I've been banged so hard that I was just like reeling, man. You know?
Yeah,
like,
and you can't think straight. You can't do anything.
Yeah, you gotta just walk away for a second and compose yourself, and then try to dig your way out, man.
It's ugly.
It's not fun.
That
but hey, it's challenging.
Panic. Yeah, the full-blown panic is just brutal.
Yeah. But for you young guys who don't have to sit there and look at wives and kids and stuff when all that's going on, you got it easy.
Yeah. When it's just you and your money, you know, on the other side of it, you can go fucking flip pizzas or wait tables
or go travel around the world, go to a third world beach and do the same thing from a laptop. Yeah,
exactly.
But when everybody else is there, that's
it's brutal. So I saw this post. I'm not going to climb into too much detail of it, but it's actually pretty brilliant. It turns out, why is that so big? Let me turn that down. Tetranode did this. He bought 938 ETH at the price of $849. And what he did was he's staking his stable coins in liquidity, and then he's taking part in liquidations. So he's getting, it's a brilliant strategy, because if you think about it, if you're trying to time it, now, you know, our mean reversion tool, you could time it a little bit and get those bottoms, but this is a really brilliant strategy, because you know that the liquidations are happening at whatever price. And if you're providing liquidity to liquidity, then you get these liquidations that occur, and they're going to occur at the bottom, right? So what a brilliant strategy for DCA. It's really smart. And I've always said, I love the Liquidity Project and the team over there, but really brilliant way to make sure you're buying at the bottom or at the current bottom. It doesn't mean that it's the end of the bottom. But when people have their ETH staked in there and they're borrowing against it and they get liquidated, it's always going to be at that peak liquidation price. So this is a really cool strategy. Really, really brilliant. Yeah. I mean, look at this. He bought it at 849. So he bought 938 ETH at 849 on that. And we're sitting at 1119. So how many ETH did I say?
Oh, he's up like 25%, something like that.
Yeah. So bought at 849.
Maybe a little more.
938.
Between 25 and 32.
So he paid 796,000, and now he's sitting at 1.059 million.
That sounds so weird to have bought almost 1,000 ETH for less than $1 million.
It's unbelievable.
Doesn't that sound weird as anything, man? It's like
crazy. But I mean, think how brilliant that is. It's like just sit and wait for the liquidations, and you're
it helps the protocol too.
Right, so, and you're making. By the way, you're making interest on your stables.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what's going on. I was looking across the board: Aave, Phantom, Curve, all up like 25, 30%. And you know who else has been up a lot lately? Is Monavale, Digital Axe.
Really?
But there's just stuff moving right now, and I'm wondering, like, if there are other people. When you showed this, I was wondering if other people are coming to these other protocols, and because they all have, Aave has liquidations. Geist has liquidations. When you basically lock your tokens, you get, the liquidation fees split amongst you. So that could be a good way to shore up protocols if you're, inclined to do so.
Right. No, it's really smart. This is a really smart strategy. Really love this. Really, really like this. It's really a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and your APR is sitting at, you're earning liquidity, and then the APR and the liquidity right now is at 18%.
Yeah.
So you're staking, you get the liquidations, and you're earning APR on the liquidity you get for the staking. It's brilliant. Really, really smart.
Yeah, and that's a good protocol too. I remember messing around with them about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened, why I stopped, but oh yeah, I think I was just half joking. I'm like, the yield was 1,200% APY, and those motherfuckers dropped it to 120%. I'm out. But
great.
that was in the early days of yield farming.
That's great. That's awesome. So there was another interesting twist on things yet this weekend. And again, a lender who's having troubles. Solend approved. They put up with a 6-hour vote. They put up a proposal to take control over a whale wallet that had like 95% of their total collateral. But then they got roasted on Twitter. And I guess they decided not to take over the whale wallet. And now they passed another vote to not take over the whale wallet, to liquidate him, because they couldn't liquidate him. And they're going to try to come up with another solution to it. So anyway, they did get a lot of grief about this idea that they were going to take over the deposits of this wallet in their protocol to liquidate them. But they are kind of fucked right now because they have so much of their of the collateral in the protocol is in one wallet.
This is what I was trying to get at on Friday. We were talking about Celsius and how it was, our discussion of centralized versus decentralized. And and I remember, what was the one before this, like 2 or 3 months ago, when remember somebody gamed the system at one of these protocols and got all these earnings. I mean, they didn't break any rules. They just sort of gamed it. And then the protocol came in and
that was the airdrop for
Optimism.
No. It's one of the. I want to say it's one of the dot chains. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, he gamed the airdrop, and they voted to take it over and burn his money or something. I don't remember.
Like created like 1,000 user wallets or something like that.
I think that was it. Yeah. And so they voted to take it over, which, then then you have a trust issue, right? From then on. It's what was I thinking of the other day? I'm not going to name them, but there's a site that provides earnings like Coindex, right?
Yeah.
And months ago, I loved it, loved their interface, loved the guys over there, and I think they're great. But I realized I wasn't using that site anymore yesterday because I was trying to find some potential earnings on some liquidity staking I have going on in Anchor. And I thought, I'll go check them out. But I realized that because they had a problem with their system, and they've probably fixed it since then. I haven't looked back. But so many of the APRs and APYs were wrong in their site, I stopped using it, right? Yeah. And I realized that had tainted the brand for me, even though they've probably fixed it, that I don't even go back to use it anymore because I have this underlying kind of thing that it may not be right, I'm going to waste my time, etc. Well, that's the kind of thing here too. It's even more severe is when you do something like this, you run the risk of really burning your brand.
Yeah. So, I mean, but again, it's caught between a rock and a hard place.
Exactly.
95% of your protocol is there.
Yeah.
It's
hard.
Yeah. I mean, you can't steal it from them like that.
No.
Okay. So you have to how do you get it under control or cut a deal with them somehow to where, they can't just take you down somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all new territory here.
Yeah, man. So. Look, I mean, that's why it's a big experiment, right? We're still figuring out what the hell we're doing every day.
So differentiators in the future will be around trust and reliability.
It's true.
On top of just returns and all of that. So somebody's got to come out what was that group? I used to look at this group years ago on stocks that they evaluate management teams and things, and they give it wasn't the corporate advisory board, but it was something like that. And they
score them.
Yeah, somebody's got to be really out of this carnage, put together better scoring metrics and things for protocols beyond do they have an audit or not?
Right. Well, and that's, I mean, I think DeFi safety is trying to do some of that, but then there are things like this, like, you know, I mean, we were just talking about liquidity. Liquidity is radically decentralized. They could never do any of this. They deployed their contracts and they're done. Like they can only tweak some things related to APRs, but only like in a very slight way. But they deployed their contracts and they're done. It works or it doesn't. Right? It gets hacked or it doesn't. It gets exploited or it doesn't. And you just hope for the best, which there's something to be said for this idea of, hey, this protocol is going to work or it's not going to work, you know, and we'll find out when people start using it. There's something to be said for that. On the other side of it, you look at like a Bancor and you think, well, you wouldn't want these years of work they put in and this strong community they have to completely fall apart because they could easily do. Turn off the permanent lock so the coin doesn't keep being dumped. But you're right. It's really strange. One of the things I was calling for months ago with the cascading liquidations on that and home are, you know, we need data. We have the data, but we need a way for all of these lending protocols to know when particular tokens are over leveraged or when a particular protocol is over leveraged and deals shouldn't be sent there anymore. And the people who run these protocols need to know when shit's getting risky. You know what I mean? And they know on their protocol, but there's all of these protocols are interconnected in some way or another in terms of the tokens that are there and leveraged, et cetera. So we need something that communicates that to everyone. So anyway, well, I agree with you.
You know what usually happens at that point? I was just thinking this through too, remembering a lot of .com-y stuff. But, you know, it's usually the management team that sees the warning signs first.
Right.
You know, and they're like, wait, what? And then it starts circulating at the managed CXO level and then into the board and people are talking and then the investors are there. And it's usually the investors that say, keep the foot on the gas.
Yeah.
You know, they never say, oh, maybe we ought to slow down here. They're all like, go for total market domination. And then it all fucks up. And the investors are like, what were you thinking? You know? It's like, you just can't win, you know, you can't. Execution. So,
yeah.
You know, I feel for all these guys.
Well, that's why really I kind of like Robert Lauco. I'm sure all the other founders are too that are right now because he's the founder of Liquidity. And he just said, fuck it. I'm putting it out there. Whatever happens, happens. I can't control it. You guys know what it is. Go for it. You want to use it? Use it. Don't want to use it? Don't use it. I don't care. And that's actually, I guarantee you there's a lot of founders right now wishing they were Robert Lauco right now. Because
if
it dies, it dies. I can't control it. Right. There's something to be said for that.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be, you know?
Right.
You throw your money in, risk it if you want, and it runs until it doesn't run. But it's not being managed by humans at that point. So is my understanding in that type of scenario, which is all what we want. We want these algorithms running in the wild.
Exactly.
I think.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's because there's the other side of it is as well. If a lot of people are going to lose millions of dollars, you know, maybe you do want to switch, you can turn shit off on. But at the same time, it's like if you tell users, hey, this is it. I can't do anything for you. You want to take the chance? This is how it works. Here's the code. You want to examine it? Have somebody examine it for you? You can. You want to hire an auditor? Go ahead. I can't do anything about it. So you decide at your own risk, you know? So anyway.
What was their big thing? What was Liquidity? I always call them Liquidity. I remember that. What is Liquidity? Like Liquidity split. What is Liquidity's model compared to say Alchemix? Is it just a straight up like stake and borrow
straight up
model?
lending? Yeah, staking. It's a stable coin LUSD.
Yep.
It's a borrow against it kind of thing. I mean, they have unique models in how they do liquidations, what your collateral levels can be, all of that. But they have it so that they don't even have a front end to their protocol on their website. They put out code that people can put up and they can take a cut of what comes through it if they want to, but you can't even access the Liquidity protocol from the Liquidity website. Like they are truly decentralized. Like I put out the smart contracts, whatever happens, happens. Yeah. There's a lot of founders out there right now. I'm sure like, God, I wish I'd done what Robert Lauco did. because they're not sleeping.
I mean, there's got to be a way. I mean, I like that because that's something that you could do out of a dorm room, or at a computer science class or something. You could just spin these algorithms out there as kids and see what happens.
Let it run.
I might, though, if I was letting it run, though. I don't know what's the liquidity revenue model? I mean, where does their money come from? Transactions?
Yeah, the money's, there's fees that get paid out from, but I don't even know how much of that they're collecting. I really don't. I don't know how much they keep versus what goes to the investors, right? The people who are providing the liquidity for for the protocol.
Finger licking good.
There's no interest charged, right? So it's just the fees. So I don't know, but I got to tell you, a lot of people are probably really happy about it right now.
Well, anybody that's still around a year and a half in off of launching a lending protocol is doing okay.
Yeah.
At this point in my book. I mean, it's ready for prime time in the sense that it's robust. So otherwise they would have gone down.
Absolutely.
Read. So that's all good. Let's start looking at them more.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's good stuff. Let me see if I got anything else. Coinbase is facing class action suits over unstable stablecoins, GYEN and USTC. So the attorneys are now circling, lining up people who got burned, buying tokens. We'll talk about this another day, but I think I had seen this before, but I'd forgotten about it. This site CryptoRank has some really, really cool data, including everything from token sales to returns on ICOs. I love this category. Won't let me enlarge it. I love this category of returns by ICOs by categories. Blockchain infrastructure, number 1 at 4.69%. Prediction markets, 3.27x. I'm sorry, that's 4.69x, not percent. Average ROI, 3.27x on predictions markets. Cloud storage, 2.72x currently. DeFi in general, 2.6. GameFi at 2.55x. Anyway, there's just a lot of really cool data here on their website.
Which one is that?
It's called CryptoRank.io. CryptoRank.io.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice tools. Really, really, really good tools. I'm impressed with it. So I don't know how much they have or don't have on there, but they got a lot of data. Really cool. And it's not. I think I'd seen it before, but it's been a long time since I looked at it.
Oh, they got a lot of good data here. Derivatives, exchanges, alerts.
Yep.
IEO, currencies. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. I'm going to have fun on that this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Hey, so check out USDD. USDD, your buddy Justin.
There you go.
90. What is that right now? Let me just check real quick. I got, I saw it 95.84.
Yep. Another lawsuit, class action lawsuit against Terra Luna thing. Oh. Yeah. They're going after Definance, Capital, GSR, Jump Crypto, Jump Trading, Doquan, Republic Capitals, Three Arrows Capital. So I'm sure serving Three Arrows Capital is going to be fun.
Was the class action that you showed with Coinbase, was that the one about Terra or was that the one about the other one?
GYEN and USTC.
Yeah, there's another Terra one coming.
Wait. USTC, they're calling Terra.
Oh yeah, that is Terra.
Yeah, that is Oh, that's right, because it's now C. That's right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, just all the usual stuff.
I don't know what the hell GYEN is. Oh, that was the yen. That's a yen stable coin. I get it.
Oh yeah, GYEN. All right. Yeah, I mean, well,
yeah,
it's messy.
Yep, it's gonna get uglier.
The lawyers come in to fight over the scraps, or the carcasses is probably a better way to put it.
QAnon influencers are now reportedly defrauding their followers via cryptocurrency scams. They are on their Telegram channels telling them to buy tokens that they mint on Waves protocol, which is like a 5-step process. So,
wow,
grifter's going to grift.
Yeah, again, this comes back to, I mean, I don't want to jump into all of this, but It's just people got to believe in stuff.
crazy.
I remember I had this client years ago at the University of Florida. Actually, no, they were never a client. We never got the deal done, but I met with them a bunch. Called Sharklet, and the scientists there had created this sort of it was like a covering for like hospital equipment and things, and it had these little like nanometer high like ridges in it, like walls. And so the idea was about hospital-borne infections and how do you make the surfaces so it's more difficult for the bacteria to grow. And so I watched all the demos and the scientific data, and what happens is that when bacteria grow on a flat, smooth surface, let's say, or whatever surface, they coalesce, they come together into a group, they form like a cluster, and then they build these little walls so that they couldn't cluster, on say a bed rail of a hospital. What happens is that when they get isolated between the walls, they die. So they need the contact. So
got it.
And you watch like nature shows, you see the same thing, ants, lions, just the way they congregate and don't. And people have to have these networks. And look at human behavior with gangs, organizations, cults. It's like we seem to have this need to be with others like us, to form tribes or troops or whatever groupings. And that's what makes us susceptible to false prophets, false leaders, whatever, people that are hustling you, the grift, because they're taking advantage of your good nature to want to believe in something. And this happens across the spectrum, not just politics, of course, but everything down the line. I mean, you see like
money, religion, everything.
Yeah. Any celebrities. I mean, you see what you think crypto people talk like freaks in these channels. Just go look what people talk like in those celebrity channels.
I've never
think they are
that.
Those celebrities.
Yeah.
They emulate them. So it's a phenomenon that, we could discuss for 20 years, but I think you just got to always be self-sufficient.
Definitely.
And join groups that you want to join, and be careful about the groups.
Yeah. Nobody deserves your pedestal. I tweet that often. Nobody deserves your pedestal.
I like that. But this right here, to see like, I tend to think that my own belief is that these guys play on the people who are the most vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And now they're grifting them with crypto too.
Yeah.
I mean, that brings in the SEC and the FBI and everybody on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you can say stuff online and not get in trouble, I guess, even if it's crazy, but you can't sell securities online.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I just feel bad for everybody.
No, me too. Celsius needs more time.
Yeah, hold on, man. We're gassing up the G5.
And a few more billion.
We need about 8 more minutes here. Yeah. Hold on, so we can clear Israeli airspace.
Please hold. We promise we're going to fix it all.
Yeah,
right.
Let's set up 3 o'clock meetings and all meet at the airport at 12. Yeah, I hope they fix it. That Mashinsky, man, I talked to him once. Remember those guys that had the domain name, the Israeli dudes that I was dealing with a couple years ago? And they were, had been talking to him and a few other ones, I think, the crypto.com guys trying to sell a domain name. And so I got into some of those conversations, and Mashinsky's a friggin' genius. I mean, this guy is smart as can be mathematics wise, and obviously pretty smart because they left New York and went to Israel
right
a couple of years ago. But I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised if prices crater. Then obviously, when you see 50% reductions from say 28 to 2019, people are going to get in trouble.
Yeah,
shit's going to go bad. So I don't really. It's not like none of us saw this potentially coming, but at the same time, you would think that you would. I don't know, man. There's got to be ways to hedge this shit better than that.
They just.
Banks are not your friends.
Yeah, when he was actually creating a worse example of a bank.
Yeah. I mean,
because he was essentially, created this opaque thing. You couldn't see where the money was going. And he was mismanaging everything about it, over leveraged, sucked into the whole Terra Luna thing.
Yeah. That's what took everybody down, though. Remember, everything was sort of teetering a tiny bit, but that
Yeah.
whole Terra collapse is what just took out 3AC, took out everybody.
Yep.
So, I mean, again,
What's the line? The about everybody swimming naked when the waves go out.
yeah,
Something like that. But
yeah,
that's what happened. Terra Luna exposed everyone that was over leveraged and bought into the bullshit and hype. And at the end of the day, if any of these people had people that you were talking about earlier, like advising them properly, they would have said, you've got how much in fucking UST? You know, you got how much in Anchor Protocol? Somebody would have said, what the fuck are you doing? But,
yeah.
you know, these people start thinking they're geniuses and can't lose in a bull market. And guess what? They can.
Well, and the funny part is it's been like 6 months since the bull market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like this was deteriorating like that, I think, over 5 or 6 months. I think everybody just kind of went all in on this.
Exactly.
And I guess the lesson learned for Terra was don't back up the stable with BTC or with something you got to control the price on. It can only be backed by shit that is fixed price.
Yeah.
So
and just don't put everything in one fucking basket. That's what's just astounding to me. It's like, holy shit. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
false idols.
Yeah, that's such a good one. False idols, false prophets, all that stuff. I mean, I wonder what, now we've got who's still standing. So, I mean, I think Brian Armstrong's pretty much had his ass handed to him at this point.
Yeah.
Sam's looking pretty good right now.
Sam looks great. Sam had no residual on UST Terra and Luna. I mean, that's what he says. A lot of this isn't publicly known, but FTX isn't getting sued, and and they are. He's talking about bailing people out, so we'll see.
Yeah, but Crypto.com looks like it's in trouble to me.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, if you think about it from the origin stories of these protocols, FTX was started from Alameda being so good at hedging, right? And at trading, right? So their origin is someone who kind of understands, don't put everything in one fucking place, you know, and hedge against that. And so, that definitely seems to make a difference.
Proof's in the pudding.
That's right. That's right.
So,
that's all good. I got today, Joe.
I'm good, man. Good day, good show. Good
wait, I did have this, but we'll talk about it another day. It's a really interesting thing about population growth and the economic impact of it and the age of countries' money. But let's save it for tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah, let's talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for participating. Eamon, Sean, Chuck, as always, love having you guys here. We will see you tomorrow. Please, if you get a chance, rate and review us on Apple Podcast. Subscribe, click the little bell, and leave a comment on YouTube. Always appreciated. We appreciate you paying attention, and we always are open to hearing about your ideas, thoughts, criticisms, critiques, etc. B05 Crypto on Telegram, B05 Crypto on Twitter, B05 Crypto #2143 on Discord. Joe, have a great afternoon.
You too, buddy. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow. All right. Talk to you.